Hey guys, it is Saturday, December 28th, 2024, and I'm back with some free VST plugins to help you with your musical adventures and endeavors. Guys, we are at the last video of the year, 2024, and we are wrapping up the month themed with free VST plugins that released this year. So this is going to be anything that was free this year, anything that became free this year, released for free this year, became free this year, or something that had a major update this year, a free VST that had a major update. So let's jump right into it. Also, I'm gonna wrap up with my top 10 for the year. So let's get right into it. The free VST plugins for today are as follows. So first up here we have Flora Light. I'm gonna try to get through this quickly because we got a lot to go through. So Flora Light, the weird thing about this one is you have to use this program. What is the name of it? Give me a second. It's called Plug Data, which is another free piece of software that you can use. So you have to install Plug Data, and I think that shows up as a VST, and then you load Flora into Plug Data. Once you have it loaded like that, you can probably save it as a preset. I know I can do that in my DAW, so I don't have to do it again. So essentially you're loading Plug Data every time you load the VST. But the cool thing about this one, this is kind of sort of like a replacement for Spacer. Any one of those, what they call AI EQs, but it's basically like a FTT style EQ that you feed it a signal, and it will, based on that signal and your settings, it'll start to intelligently and automatically EQ out specific frequency ranges that you tell it to, but it's doing it dynamically on that granular FTT level. Hopefully that made sense to you guys. If not, check out a video about it, or check out a video about Track Spacer. It's pretty much a free version of that. So the controls are pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You just got to make sure you're setting up what signal you're going to use to activate and modulate everything to start functioning and basically EQing subtractively. That's pretty much it for that. So this is from the developer Ewan Bristow, and it's called Flora Light. Next up we have Cyclops. Now this was one of my favorites for the year, surprises for the year also. It's not on the list, but it's here. I talked about this maybe 2 months ago. So the cool thing about this, they don't give you a ton of presets, but because of the amount of controls they give you right here, there's so many tweaks that you can make with all these controls that's gonna change the timbre, the texture, the tone, the feeling, and the vibe of the sounds that you can get a lot out of this. And surprisingly, with all these controls that can tweak and all the modulation that's happening within this synth, it's still surprisingly light on the system. So the sounds have a very specific sound to it, has a specific feel and vibe, but it's very texture rich and very interesting. So definitely check this one out. It has a resizable interface. It is Mac and PC compatible, and it's a very interesting one. Like I said, there's a lot of controls. At first, looking at the interface, you don't realize, but even these sections here on the side, these are all different controls. So you click on them, you see a whole bunch of different parameters come up for you to tweak. Down here, it has some of its own built-in effects like reverb, and there's just a lot going on with how you can tweak and manipulate it to just come up with unique sounds that you can then save as your own presets. So it's cool to experiment with, and it's from the developer Dawson, and once again it's called Zyklop. Next up we have Subtle Spaces, which is a reverb, and the cool thing about this is they give you 40 presets. It has 15 unique room spaces for you to check out. So along with that and all the settings here, they give you 40 plus presets, it says here. And very intuitive interface. I like the visuals. And we have input output levels. There is stereo width that you can mess with. We have our mix slider here, and there is a pre-delay. You can set in your pre-delay, and like I said, they give you the different room spaces up here. So very intuitive interface, visuals, easy to get up and running. If you don't want to tweak, you can start with a preset and then go from there. And this one is from the developer Fine Classic Plugins. Next up we have Vaults. So Vaults is from the developer The Crow Hill Company. So with Vaults, it has all the usual stuff, resizable interface. One thing I like about the interface on this one is very clean, not too much going on, very intuitive as far as what you need to get to, not too many settings to overwhelm you. So they have, the way it works is you sign up for your account on the Crow Hill website, and I should say, well, I guess unfortunately, if you didn't get into this at the beginning when it was beta, because it shifted from beta to their full distribution model this year. And what it is that they release a free plugin to add to this. So it's a sample instrument player, kind of like Contact. And every month they release a new sampled instrument for it. So there's a piano, there's some strings, there are drums, and the list goes on for a little bit because they've been releasing in beta. Now it's no longer in beta, and what they're doing is every month they release one. The new one knocks out which one was first. So to just keep it going, number 1, let's say, knocks out number 10. And number 10, if you never got it, you'll never get it. If you were in it from the beginning, it will always be a part of your account as long as you went and updated and basically retrieved that sampled instrument before it came off the list. So it behooves you to go every month and check out their what they're releasing, because soon it will be gone from the list forever. And if you never claimed it, then it won't be a part of your account. If you did claim it, then it will always be a part of your account. So whenever you get to a new computer and you're setting up, you can always log into your Crow Hill. They have a Crow Hill app, the app installer. I remember I went on a rant yesterday about app installers, plugin installers. Their plugin installers, it's not that bad. So once they came out of beta and they started this model of, we're going to get rid of the oldest sampled instrument every time we release a new one, they released a plugin installer specifically for that called the Crow Hill app. So you go in, you log it in, you open it up, log it. Most likely you got to do an update every time you open it. You log in and you claim the latest one. Matter of fact, I think you have to claim it on the website first. Then you open the Crow Hill app. Make sure that the app is up to date, and then it'll show that you now have a free instrument that you claimed from the website. And then you can download and install it. Once you claim it from the website, it'll always be a part of your library as long as they keep the support going for this plugin. So you can build a decent library of sounds as they release new sounds every month. Just make sure you don't miss claiming whatever the new one is for the month, because after a while it's going to get to the end of the list and it's going to get bumped off the list by the newest one. So that's the only thing about it. Once they came out of beta, they started that whole thing where the newest one will bump the last one off the list. Otherwise, each one has different macros in the middle, and it's usually these two macros that's going to affect the sound in some way. The dynamics or the timbre of the sound, depending on what the instrument is, these macros will be different and will affect the sounds differently. So whether it's strings, piano, drums, whatever it is, it's gonna affect this differently. These two parameters will affect the sound differently. Otherwise, down here we have tone. I think tone and hammers vary what those parameters are from one instrument to the next. Echo and splosh will always be the same. Echo is delay and splosh is a type of reverb that you can dial into taste. So this one is pretty interesting because it is a growing library that they are releasing a new sampled instrument for every month. So I really appreciate it, and that's why it's here for today being highlighted. So that's pretty much it. Otherwise, it has all the latest stuff: VST3, AAX, Mac and PC, AU, all that good stuff. For right now, it's not taking up a lot of space, but of course, as you keep adding to your library and downloading all the new sampled instrument, I can imagine that that space size requirement, storage size on your hard drive will grow. So that's just one thing to pay attention to. Make sure you have a ton of hard drive space, because every month they're releasing something new. Next up, it's Graylon. I always used to pronounce this incorrectly, but it's Graylon from Auburn Sounds. Version 3 got released this year, and I have a bone to pick with them. So this one, it is a pitch correction plugin, sort of like auto tune. So it's an auto pitch correction where you pick your key, scale, and you dial the settings to taste, and it's supposed to do the pitch correction like auto tune. Now, this one has always been hit or miss for me. Sometimes I use it based on the type of track that I'm doing and the type of auto tuning that I need for a specific effect, because the algorithm for each one works differently, from auto tune to M auto pitch for melodic production, or whichever one you use. So this one has a different vibe, and just how it reacts is a little bit different. I feel like it kind of works better on maybe more hip-hop tracks as far as the sound that you're going for, if you're going for that very noticeable auto-tune sound. Now, they came out with a new version. They have some new algorithm, and I think it felt like it made the plugin worse. So even the new algorithm versus the old algorithm, it just feels like they made some changes, and it just doesn't sound good. It's not pleasing to the ear. So I don't know if it's just me, but I felt like it kind of went backwards with just the sound and the vibe that it brings. But it's a version 3 and it's here, but I'm not a fan of it. But it was released, so it's on the list. Here we go. Graylon 3, updated this year from Auburn Sounds. So to wrap it up, I have my top 10 list here. First on the list, I'm gonna go through this fairly quickly, is Shape It. I talked about Shape It yesterday, so I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but here it is. Shape It is an EQ, and check out yesterday's video to find out why I like it so much. Epic Clouds from Variety of Sound, that got released this year also. It is an excellent reverb module. Definitely check that out. Flight, which I talked about, one of my favorites for this year, Flight from Wavia. It is a synth, and there's a paid version and there's a free version where you have less control over the settings, but you have access to a pretty deep library of presets. Spot On, one of my favorites this year also. It is an auto-tune style plugin. So unlike the last one that I was talking about, Greylon 3, this one actually sounds pretty good for a free auto-tune plugin. A lot of them are usually pretty bad. This one actually sounds good. If you want something that sounds kind of natural and a bit transparent when you dial in the settings right, it actually does a pretty good job. And then you can crank it up full speed, full amount, to get that really iconic hard switching note sound that is popular in hip hop and pop music. Next up, we have Atmosphere from Zach Sounds. This is a reverb, basic one knob reverb. Has a very nice lush sound and just one big knob to dial it all in. And then you can hit this little icon right here to kind of recycle, and it will change behind the scenes. It'll change the settings and gives you a different reverb. But you won't know what the settings are. It just changes behind the scenes. So this one is just something you kind of throw on for a vibe. You're not worried about settings. You're just dialing in the mix, how much reverb you want, wet, dry. That's it. Straightforward. Next up, we have Vocal Menace. Vocal Menace is a multi-effect plugin, mainly for vocal. As it says, you can use it for other things, but it has stereo, width, drive. It has all these knobs with these names like sheen, girth, cup, wash, call, pain. In the manual, they explain what all these different knobs do and represent. One of them is just like a tilt EQ, and then there's saturation and tube, warmth, and all that good stuff. And I'm sure there's reverb, stereo width, all that good stuff, distortion, maybe some clipping. But it's good for dialing in effects on a vocal if you're looking to give that vocal like a special sound, like in pop music or something. If you're creating a vox, definitely great for that. You just throw that one plugin on and play with those settings till you get the sound you're looking for. Number 8 on the list is Numa Player. Numa Player, it is a keyboard monster. So if you're looking for great keyboard sounds, look no further. They have multiple acoustic pianos and upright pianos to choose from, multiple electric pianos and electric keys, and then it has some other chromatic instrument like mallet-based instruments, and it has strings and pads. The cool thing about this one also is that you can layer out the sound, so it has 4 different sections in the interface, and you can actually layer a bunch of sounds together to create one big lush sound. You can actually set up the key mapping where one range is piano and strings, and the other range might be a pad and some mallets, and you can really play with the key mapping, how the instruments are laid out across the keyboard as far as the different octaves, how you want to stack and layer sounds together. There's a full-on effect section, there's a master section, a lot of detailed settings, and this one upgraded to a new version this year. That's the big thing with this one. So very, very full-featured keyboard sound generator style plugin. Next up, we have from Spectral Plugins. These went free. I spoke about this already. It's on my top 10 list. These went free this year from Spectra Sounds. And we have Spacer, which is a monster reverb and delay plugin where it has 6 slots with 3 different reverbs, 3 different delays, and a bunch of presets. So each slot that you select and drop and turn on will have presets individually per slot, a lot of those, and then there's also a big overall preset list for the overall plugin that'll give you different combinations of the delays and reverbs all together to just create this big, lush, creative virtual space. So it's a very good spatial plugin for your reverbs and delays. They have different types of reverbs and they have different types of delays all working together to just create this one lush sound. Then they have Panks, and Panks is more, I want to say it's a transient shaper. Am I correct? Multi-band transient shaper. There we go. So yeah, multi-band transient shaper / clipper tool, and then we have OCS45 from Spectral Plugin. So all of these are number 9 on the list. OCS45 is basically a lo-fi tape cassette style plugin. So, you know, it'll have the warping and the wobbling, and basically you can get different types of tape effects, cassette tape, to kind of degrade the quality of the audio to give it that weathered, worn, and used sound. If you're going for that type of vibe, lo-fi type of sound, basically lower the fidelity of your sound in a creative way. So last up is Supermassive. Now Supermassive is not new, but this year, as they do every year, they've been doing every year for the last couple of years, is they release a new algorithm, a new mode, algorithm mode down here. They released a new one this year, Playlist, and that always comes with a whole new set of presets. So when you go into the preset area, you'll see a section that says 2024. So, you know, they updated it algorithmically and fixed whatever bug fixes and improved the performance. And they also added for version 4 the playlist algorithm, and it tells you here what those different algorithms, the characteristics of them. And they released a ton of new presets. So it is still one of the best free reverbs out there. Supermassive gives you supermassive reverbs and delay presets. Very, very, very good one. I use it a lot. So that is my top 10 for the year that I use on a day-to-day basis. And definitely check out the link in the description. It will take you to this blog page where you can check out all these plugins that got released this year. Also check out the other videos from this month. And right here I have my social media links right here if you guys are interested. Check that out if you get a chance. So that's it for the year, guys. You guys know the routine. There is a link in the description for a plugin series that I did called PC Specs and How It Relates to Music Production. So if you're looking to understand how your computer's internals works along with your DAW to help you produce music smoothly and effectively without any distractions and issues, definitely check that out. It'll help you understand how it all works and what's important if you're looking to upgrade your system. It'll help you understand where you need to spend your money, specs, what specs are important for that, so you can make an informed decision. Also, there is a link in the description for a growing playlist for these videos that I do every 2 weeks, as I'm trying to ramp that up to more than twice a week. I do it twice every week, not every 2 weeks. I do it twice a week. I'm trying to ramp that number up. For the last 2 weeks, I've been doing 3 a week, and hopefully I can ramp that up going into the new year. So if you're looking for more free VST plugins, 100% free, please check out that link in the description. That'll take you to a playlist with over 350 videos like these, where I present you guys with more free VST plugins. Once again, 100% free, guys. I will see you guys, well, you guys will see me in the new year. Let's make it a productive one. All the best wishes, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the new year, and as usual, you'll see me in the next video.